Trying some new noodles?
Yeah!
They look real good.
Yeah!
Like a really good texture, like you've never had noodles like that before. How do they taste?
Bit fucking spicy.
You do seem to have steam coming out of your ears.
Good texture, though.
Lovely texture, they seem real good. It's just a shame that they're too hot for you. Try this.
Wow, what's this?
It's a noodle thermostat. Trying new spicy noodles. Are they too hot? Not spicy enough? Use the noodle thermostat to make sure the noodles are at exactly the spice level that you want. Even after you've cooked them. Even after you put the entire flavour packet in and realised, actually, that's a bit hotter than I wanted.
Maybe a half packet would have been fine.
I wanted a meal and not an endurance test. Or maybe you're a streamer and you wanted to sweat it out, so you can set this all the way to Ultra Max.
No human should consume it.
Warning, no human should consume it. Noodle thermostat. It's thermostat for how spicy those nudes be. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnet Dale.
I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet Dale, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast for two queer trans women. That's us, we're wifey types. Have a bit of a catch-up about media we've consumed in the week, and do some silly voices and skits to try and amuse each other.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm chilly.
The winter sure did go from 0 to 100, huh?
It sure did. It was like, oh, we're getting a little bit more summer. Oh, we're getting a little bit more summer.
Okay, maybe like one day of autumn. Rain, cold rain.
Cold rain.
Oh,
I mean, to be fair, I've been seeing like leaves turning brown and falling since like July.
Yeah, but there was some sunshine in there, so I could lie to myself about the seasons.
Indeed.
Well, because of all the rain and such, it's a good excuse for us to be inside. What have you been playing recently?
I devoured Echoes of Wisdom.
As did I. Last time we recorded this, we had played about 4 hours each, I think. We'd played enough to like get through the opening and the first dungeon and a bit into the open world, and like we were starting on that journey. And I think we've both now completed the story, basically 100%ed the stamp quest and the Might Crystals quest. Like we're very close to the end. Like we have most of the heart containers. We've done most of the side quests.
Yeah, I've got all but 2 of the heart containers, 1 of the Might Crystals. I've got all of the stamps. I've got all the clothing that I can get.
Yeah, we've really consumed that game. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Was this a consumption of enjoyment? I ask foolishly.
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah. I hope this game gets randomizers like Link to the Past.
I would be very interested in randomizers for this.
It's a fun game. I enjoyed messing around with all of the different echoes. Yeah. I did find that like I regularly would settle into like 3 or 4, depending on the type of area.
I did, but also I'm playing it through a second time on stream right now.
Yeah.
And I'm using very different stuff because of things I found later that I've found new uses for.
Yes.
It's been interesting.
Or didn't realise that I could even kill to get echoes off in the first place.
Yes.
Like the big
it's the elevator monster.
Yes, that would have been real useful to have got through a bunch of things that I was really struggling with at several points. But, how were you finding... Because you're going through on hard mode as well, aren't you?
I was going through on hard purely because Twitch chat wanted to know what hard was like. And I was like, yep, that's twice the damage output. I don't need that in my life.
Yeah. Do the beds still work in hard mode?
The beds still work in hard mode. Because here's the thing. The thing that hard mode has really crystallized in my head is enemies do considerably more damage to you considerably more quickly in this than they do in other Zeldas. And the reason for that is because you're fighting primarily through summons that are supposed to allow you to sort of keep your distance. You're a summoner, you're a Pokemon trainer, whatever your metric is. You are not... In theory, you should be on the back line. And it means if you are taking damage, something has gone wrong in the game. See, the way I interpret it is the game wants to punish you for taking that damage to be like, get the fuck out of there. Oh. You are squishy. You're not meant to be doing the fighting up close.
Yes.
And that, I do think, works really well. I think it means that there is still some threat of death in a game where you are not actually having to get close to the thing you were attacking necessarily. But doubling that damage means that it's very easy for, like, oops, I slipped up and an enemy got near me for, like, a second, to instantly all your health is gone. Like, doubling your damage output, the damage you're taking, is, like, a little more intense than I necessarily want to go on that.
Is that just you, or do your echoes also take down more damage?
I don't know, but I think it's only me. I think the echoes are as sturdy as usual, is my understanding. But
that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, that game is delightful.
Yeah, really charming. It's very cute. I could go some more of that.
Yeah, very much so. I'm having fun following the speedrunning community around that game. Fun fact, speedruns of that game are now already under an hour long because people worked out how to skip from the first dungeon to the final dungeon using a wrong warp. But even outside of wrong warping, I'm having a lot of fun finding the weird movement tech people have discovered, such as
Tornado bed.
Tornado bed. Tornado bed's really easy. Stand on the edge of a bed, drop a tornado, you go flying. Usually the way you want, sometimes at a 90-degree angle, but you will get high up in the air. Or tether yourself to a crow, pick up some meat, and let the crow try and get the meat you're holding, and it float you up in the air, because it's flying up to get the meat.
It's real pole with a string and a carrot in front of a donkey.
It's really, what if I wore a magnet on my hat, and then held a magnet in my hand above my head, and then it pulled me into the air?
It would have to work.
It would have to work. That's how magnets do.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff has been nonsense, and I am having a fun time with it. Yeah, I really loved this game.
Yeah.
I could very much go for if we next, with the Switch 2, next generation, get, like, alternating big open world Zelda that's, like, more sort of abstract in design, and, like, in between each of those, we got, like, a little Zelda like this that was, like, more authored dungeons, and Zelda got to be playable, and we had, like, cool, weird mechanics like this. I'd be very okay with that being the rhythm of Zelda.
I'd be perfectly okay with whatever the Majora's Mask equivalent of this would be.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Link Between Worlds.
It's... I largely think this game is great. I have a couple of little things that I have quibbly thoughts about, and I'm not going to go into any kind of depth here because the game's been out less than a week and no spoilers. What I will say is, I put a video out before this game came out with some concerns about some quotes that Eiji Aonuma had said about...
They were quite concerning.
Yeah, about what it would take for us to get a Zelda game where Zelda would be the playable protagonist, and the more of this I played, the more I did look back on that video and go, I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong about some of that. Like, I genuinely really enjoy the combat system in this. I think it is great. I don't mechanically haven't walked away from this going, why can't Zelda swing a sword? But narratively, there's a few things in the category of that you could have let Zelda do that. That could have been Zelda.
Yes.
It feels, there's little bits of this game that do feel a little rooted in. But there's got to be something for the boy. There's got to be something for boys. And there's a few points where that happens where I'm like, it's not enough for me to not love this game, but, part of loving a thing is not being afraid to be critical when it does things that are a bit weird.
Yeah.
I love this game, but I, at some point, have a video in me about it.
Also, some of that horse racing can get fucked.
What? Trying to get the high score on the short track, do you mean?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I mean that.
Yes, trying to get under 17 seconds and getting like 17.2, 17.1, 17.08. I'm like, just get under the fucking 17. It's a little too fucking tight, that
yeah, it's weird
seconds.
because I managed to get master on the other two way before I got the short course.
Yeah.
But apart from that, yeah, I enjoyed the whole, interesting, redo dungeons challenge missions.
Yeah.
That was really clever. Even though there was one type of that I just really struggled with. Yeah, overall I really enjoyed it, and I would go for something more like this. And also, once again, proving that proper authored dungeons in a Zelda game can absolutely be done, can be really cool, can have a good number of them. And still give people a lot of creativity and stuff.
I think the example of that I keep thinking about is we both saw a clip this week of you could either do it second or third, but one of the early dungeons, the water-themed one, that you can just completely break with a very easy mechanic. You can sequence break it really fucking easy. But why would you? There's a cool authored dungeon here.
Yeah.
And it's cool to know that you could, while also going, yeah, but there's a whole bunch of fun stuff to do. And I think that approach could be applied to something like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom is, yeah, sure, you could break this, but there's, like, cool authored stuff to do. And, like, it's up to you. If you want to dodge it, that's fine, but also some of this design.
I think it does become more difficult in full, unrestrained 3D. With a top-down game like this, that slightly isometric view, you do have more ability to restrict a player. We've talked a few times about the Breath of the Wild, the dungeon where there's the big swinging spiky balls, and my answer to that was, just magnesis them and wrap them around the thing they're tied to, so that they're not long enough to hit me as I just walk along the thing, and that solution worked.
I'm still a believer that the Gerudo dungeon in Tears of the Kingdom is the closest that the 3D has gotten to creating enough limitations to sort of require you to do a degree of the linear design that is presented.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much did that one entirely as a regular 3D dungeon, as opposed to the number of people who were going, you can solve 99% of your problems by hold the big stick in the air and then dive through the big stick to the top and then just jump out rather than actually do mission.
Yeah, but it is really funny to jump up through a big stick, though.
I never did that. I didn't do that a lot, but there were a few times where there were things I did futz around with by using reverse and then
yes, put plank on the floor, reverse it up into the air.
Yes, that did make a few things a little bit easier, but I think this did a really good job of going. Yeah, there are loads of creative ways you could do things. One of the first things you do when you learn bind is, here is a big frickin' rock. There is a button behind it. You can grab the rock and you can throw it off throw it down a big hole. Throw it into a big hole. You can grab the rock and move it onto the button.
Yeah.
Or you can just use entirely other things to climb over the big rock.
Yeah, if you don't touch the big rock, it doesn't tell you about or give you bind. So you can just build a bridge around the big rock to press the button. And that is very possible. I think that's great.
Yeah. I appreciated that freedom. And it's also been nice watching other people play this and going, oh, you did that very differently to how I did.
Yeah. The one I've been watching is, there's a late on platforming puzzle that I had a lot of trouble with, where there's one platform going up and then to the left very late on, and you're trying to get it to move you up and to the left in a very specific way, and I'm getting into the right position to do it's really tricky. And then I realized you can just do one of those spiders that lets you climb up and completely avoid that puzzle. And I'm that's one of the things that really frustrated me in the late game. Yeah. I can just put a spider there and get around it. Fuck yeah. It's been fascinating watching other people's solutions to things I'd made very complicated.
Yeah, and also the people who discovered certain echoes way earlier in the game, and therefore made very different use of things. It's very easy to go I need a bed because I need something too wide because it's really good for crossing gaps that I can make ladders out of. I can make all sorts of things out of. And until you get the ability to do a double height jump, and suddenly it's well, actually now this is way more useful for me. The boulder became super freaking useful to me.
Oh, I love the boulder
because it can't be destroyed by most enemies.
Yeah,
and it's just the right height to get over most gaps. So just quick use of drop a boulder, jump on it, run away. Don't need to kill everything. I'm just on a mission to find the last few freaking mic crystals.
Yeah. I think my only other thought about that game is, as much as I love the concept of the automatons, you can't get them until you're at least 3 dungeons deep into the game. And if you don't instantly work out what the things are to make them, you might be quite late in the game before you've made them.
I had completed the game before I got any of them.
I was heading toward the final dungeon and like trying to wrap stuff up before the final dungeon before I got any of them.
Yes.
In my replay through on Twitch, I am making an effort to get them earlier, but the problem is because they take time to wind up to use in the midst of battle, and like, if they're destroyed, you have to go back to an NPC to get them repaired.
Yeah.
I have just really struggled to convince myself to use them when all of my echoes, if they get destroyed, I can just summon them instantly straight back.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the solution to making them a thing I would want to use more would be, other than quicker wind up. You can get them earlier in the game and like slightly better hinting of how to craft them. And maybe if they get destroyed, they rebuild in your inventory on a timer, so you can't use them for X amount of time, but they will auto-rebuild. Like, those might have been steps that would make me use them more. I wish I was more into them.
Yeah, like an accessory that, like, automatically repairs things over time, or something like that.
Or even if I could just spend rupees to repair them in my own inventory.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I gotta buy some repair kits from that NPC as consumable items I could carry with me or something,
Yeah, despite the fact that NPC is right near a fast travel point.
Yeah.
It's still not quite enough.
It's a shame, because the designs and the puns are great.
Yeah, and like, weirdly, it was only the first one I really struggled with, because...
Yeah, it was an odd description.
There was an odd description for half of it, and I was just like, couldn't work that out. But as soon as I got past the first one, I was like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing with all the rest of
Yeah,
these.
it's literally just one of the descriptions for the first contraption that was... I was like, I guess, but it would never have described it that way myself.
Yeah. But weirdly, the rest of them were absolutely fine. In fact, some of them led me to how to get like other little side missions. But I've done all 50 side missions. I've got all 127 echoes.
Yeah.
Done all of the main missions. Yeah,
pretty robustly played.
Yes. Like Link to the Past, I have played the crap out of it.
Yep. And seeing that the speedrun, as it currently stands, is basically play the opening up to the end of the first dungeon, like, pretty efficiently, do one warp trick, and then just play the end of the game. I'm like, I could maybe give that a try. That seems fun. It's not got too many back-to-back fiddly tricks or anything. There's one trick to learn, and keep yourself alive in the final fight. And I'm like, that could be fun to try.
Yeah.
So I might give that a go. I might give it a try. I might see how I get on with that.
Back to the speedrunning, eh?
Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm like, a sub-hour game is the kind of thing I could see myself giving myself some time to. But yeah, what else have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Core Keeper.
Ooh, tell us about Core Keeper.
Yeah, it's a little sandbox survival game underground. I would say it's like horizontal Terraria.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's doing that third-person survival sandbox game without the peril of just plummeting to your death down a hole that you forgot that you'd put there.
Yeah.
It's the main problem with this, like I have a lot of problems with that type of game, is that it really doesn't like explaining itself at all.
Yeah.
Like, the first character I made, I was like, oh yeah, I want to be this type of character that comes with, like, a better torch, and they'll be really good for, like, exploring and stuff. And I came into an area and it was like, I was spawned in, and there was, these weird vine things all over the place, and I couldn't work out how to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, hang on, I know a bunch of other characters were possibilities, and one of them had, like, a pickaxe for getting through stuff. Do I just have to make another character and get myself out of the starting area? I did that. I got myself out of the starting area and later realised that actually I didn't need to do that. But because nothing had been explained, I had basically wasted a bunch of time fucking around with that. But beyond that, I've, like, quite enjoyed what I've been doing. Like, there's like initially 3 bosses that you're going after. One's quite easy to find. The other 2, you're sort of pointed at them. By defeating the first boss, you could get a way of creating a tracker for the other two.
Okay.
And then once you've defeated those two and basically awoken the core, you're basically told, hey, you know that weird protective barrier around the whole world that you probably just assumed was the edge of the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go and touch it now, you can knock it down, and there's 3 other areas beyond that.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
And there's 6 bosses to defeat beyond there that you will get 2 from each area, but it's one from one region, one from another region, one from the third region, then restarting the whole thing again.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm enjoying building my little base. There's some automation stuff. There's chains.
Yeah.
You can build little minecart trains. That's been fun. I also like that you can put conveyor belts underneath the minecarts, so you can drive along the train track to where you've built yourself a little mining operation. Meanwhile, the mining operation is normally automatically sending stuff back to your base. But if anything goes wrong, or you want to update or change anything about the automatic mining system, you can just fast go there on your minecart on the minecart track. It's this is really freaking convenient.
That sounds it.
Yeah, I've just got to the 4th area of the game, but buzzing around in there trying to work out where the first of the late game bosses are, and I'm enjoying it, even if it is kind of a pain in the bum sometimes. I just wish the first half an hour was better explained.
Yeah.
But after that, it's good fun, and I haven't needed to wiki too much.
That's good for a game like that.
It is. But yeah, what about you? What else have you been playing?
I mean, the only thing I've really been playing is Balatro on mobile.
Yeah, how is it?
It's a decent port. It's, as is always important for a mobile game, not a big battery drain.
Nice.
Which is good. We've talked about Balatro before. It starts as being poker, and then the rules get weird and funky based on poke-ish. The round I'm currently doing, I have a deck that is only hearts and spades. All the diamonds became extra hearts and all the clubs became extra spades, and I'm trying to go for flushes, and hearts get me weird big modifiers, and if I play the same hand twice in a row, I get a big modifier. So because I'm purely going for flushes, trying to get flush of hearts and then flush of hearts again, which then makes it triple as good. It is a fun game that is exactly the right kind of length and quittable at any moment, and it will have auto-saved your progress and you can jump back in, to be great for travel game that's on my phone. I've been playing it a bit because I'll talk about this in one of the other sections, but I travelled somewhere at the weekend, and this was a good length for I'm on the train, just something to be doing for half an hour, pottering about with.
Yeah.
And it's nice going through the progression of it again and unlocking things and going back to, I'm not yet at the point of, to make progress, I need to be doing gold rank on this specific deck, and I'm going to do it over and over and over again. I'm not quite at that point yet.
Yeah, I didn't get past, base chips on most of the decks.
It's been fun getting myself back in the headspace of how Balatro, how completely abuse these mechanics to make number go up. I had a very good run. You have to get to the 8th round of things to complete a run. I got up to the 14th round.
Nice.
Continuing to play past the end. I was making in the millions of points per hand.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I'm doing good. And then I clicked the wrong thing once, and my pardon the pun, house of cards came tumbling down. What about you? You been playing anything else?
That's pretty much it for me.
Well then, time for this. Hey Jane.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going.
Yeah,
it's going.
Yeah, what's up?
Well, still can't get a hold of the ADHD meds.
Oh yeah, I forgot I was gonna go and check if they had mine in that they didn't.
Yeah.
Have them the last 8 weeks. So.
Yeah. Well, you know the thing when not on the meds and brain all over the place. I had the bright idea to try and make my own.
Ooh. Yeah. What's the plan?
Okay.
You got to get test tubes and stuff and all going.
No. I started with just a big amount of Red Bull in a big pan.
Okay, I see where we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I added a bunch of sugar.
Yeah, I see
Yeah?
that. Yeah.
And then I put some lemon juice and some chili in there to just like wake up my senses.
Zing,
yeah, a bit of
zing.
zing.
Yeah.
You know, that's almost the same as being like alert. And then I
Couple of caffeine tablets.
well, yeah, and then I started thinking about like how I lose track of time. So I ground up a clock to put in to not lose track of time because the time would be in there.
You got the time.
And then
So that way time is on your side.
yeah, and then I just like sort of shouted my schedule into the mixture
Yeah,
in the
makes
hopes
sense.
that
Yeah.
that would help.
Yeah. Get it all in there. Infuse.
And
Infuse.
and then I started boiling it down into a paste.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. What is that smell?
Oh god, I didn't fucking take it off the boil. Oh god, fuck with this lack of meds.
You have burnt right through the bottom of that pan. How long has it been on there?
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, off again to save Hyrule.
Hey, you got
Hello?
you got any money on you?
No, I don't
Got
tend
any
to.
rupees?
I don't tend to carry money on me. It's not really something I
You
do.
sure? I'm pretty sure that's the tiara you got under that hood there. I've got a knife. You wanna give me that fancy jewellery, miss?
Pea hat.
Oh, what the fuck?
My army of pea hats. Get the mugger!
This was not the solo attacking I had anticipated.
You know, once I clear my name, I'm going to have to do something about the wealth inequality in this kingdom. So, what have you put in your eyes?
We've been continuing to watch Kevin can F himself.
Yes.
You'd watched up to the end of season 1, and then together we rewatched the end of season 1, and we've watched all but 3 episodes of season 2,
Yes.
which is, I believe, the final season. That show is good. That show is intense. That show is a lot.
Yes.
Season 2 has definitely skewed further into the dramatic tension.
Yes.
The dramatic tension. Whereas season 1 is, here is sitcom that occasionally jumps to drama to like shock you into remembering how heavy the things going on are in the sitcom world. Season 2 has felt largely a drama that occasionally dips back into the sitcom realm.
I think part of that is by virtue of the fact that there are more people experiencing the drama side of things than there were in
Yes.
season 1.
Yes.
And by virtue of seeing a character who, in the first season, was always in sitcom worlds, suddenly being this source of like, oh, actually, things are not great for me right now.
Seeing other people make the transition into seeing the not great version of things has shifted the narrative interestingly.
Which I think has been like a really interesting way to tell that story.
Oh, agreed, yeah.
But yeah, our main character continues to not be a great person, but the things are happening. Don't want to spoil it. But yeah, it continues to be a fascinating show, and I'm curious where it's going.
So, here's one thing I think I can say, and I don't think is spoilery to say. So in season 1, like fairly early on, the idea comes up of the way to get out of my abusive relationship is to kill Kevin, my shitty husband.
Yes.
I think that much is fair to say. And that or variations thereof are a running theme throughout this show is my shitty abusive husband, the only way I'm going to get out of this relationship is to do something very drastic to make sure that I cannot be pulled back into this relationship. And one thing I think's been really interesting about season 2 is we've more than once regularly keep seeing examples of other people escaping abusive relationships through less dramatic means. And it's been a really interesting repeated theme, I think, in that it is not shown as an easy thing to do. It is shown as something that is hard, that has drawbacks, but it is shown that it is possible to get out of a relationship like that, not necessarily to the most dramatic of extremes.
The world is telling our dramatic little main character.
It is an interesting backdrop for our main character who, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think she's not just, I don't think that she's necessarily wrong to think that might be necessary, but, the universe is trying to put examples in front of her of there are people who have gotten out of these kind of relationships in different ways, and she's just blinkered to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's, like, a bad bit of storytelling. I think it's a fascinating storytelling element. And I'm very curious whether or not, like, having not finished the show, whether that will shake her path at all, or if she is just going to steamroll forward with whatever happens.
Whatever happens.
Yeah. Super interesting show.
Yeah, there are a lot of threads going on right now, and I am really genuinely curious about where they will all go.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's good enough that a bunch of people are like, we need season 3.
I mean, if it ends well in season 2, I'm more than happy for it to end there.
Yeah, I'm always happy when a show has at least one satisfying ending.
Yeah.
But, that's that. Have you watched anything else?
Have I watched anything else? That's the question. Let's find out. I don't know whether to put this in the watched or listened to.
I think that's music.
You reckon this is a listen to?
I'd say that's a listen to.
Okay, well then no, I've not really watched anything else. It's not been that kind of a week. I've been Zelda-ing and working.
You Zelda real hard.
I Zelda real hard. What about you? What you been putting in your eyes?
We watched a thing together.
Yeah.
We went and saw the MCV Develop Women in Games Awards,
I
where
suppose.
you won an award for journalism impact.
Yeah, I suppose that is a thing we put in our eyes.
Yeah.
Me and you and my mum went to the MCV Develop Women in Games Awards 2024, which you came back in 2019 when I was nominated. I didn't win back then, but we did enjoy a lot of free wine. It was lovely.
Yeah.
But I was nominated for Journalism Impact.
Yeah.
Did not think it was likely I would win.
I could tell by your acceptance speech.
Yeah. It's you know you've given an acceptance speech when like 9 or 10 people walk up to you afterwards to go, that was such a beautiful, moving speech, and you're having to go like, I'm glad that's how you took it and not embarrassing.
Yeah.
I had emotions. I wasn't
managed
ready.
to not cry on stage.
Yeah, look, 10 years of getting nominated for a bunch of stuff and never quite getting there. I wasn't quite ready for, oh shit, it me.
Yeah.
I did the best words this year.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, it was a good time, it was a good day, and it was nice to see lots of women in games being recognised for their cool things that they do in games.
Yeah.
And more of this, please. More of this.
More of this indeed.
Yeah, it was a good day, and congratulations to all the nominees, all the finalists, and to you for being the best at journalism.
The funniest thing about that day is still on the way there, trying to be like, it'll be good if I lose. The joke that we were doing back and forth on the way out the house was, well, if you lose, then you can come home earlier. You won't have to socialize. You won't have to socialize as much.
Playing Echoes
and you can play more Zelda. You'll get home and play Zelda sooner. I was like, that does sound pretty good. And then I won, and I was like, fuck, I gotta stay and socialise for a bit longer now and be present. Oh no, less Zelda and more social.
There were good vegan brownies, though.
There were good vegan brownies.
Yeah. And when we got home, we got to just flop. And go, we've been socialed out entirely.
Indeed. I have done as much social as I'm capable of. I must flop.
Yes.
I had deep fried chicken balls and flopped on the couch. It was good.
Chicken and flop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did good at a thing.
You did, congratulations.
Look at me, I did good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also watched the new Llamas with Hats finale.
We did. What did you make of all that?
Yes. That is how that ends correctly.
Sometimes you have to go through a journey that ends the way that ended.
Yes. And also, sometimes you have to realise that you're a terrible person who just can't stop murdering everyone.
Yeah.
Carl.
I'm still processing that days later.
Yes, I am curious to see if people are going to do, like, breakdowns on it, because it is fascinating and weird and bizarre, and it goes some places, and it does some things, and it makes some interesting visual choices. And, I'm curious to know what other people think of it as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And my name is somewhere in the credits.
Yeah.
Because I backed it on Kickstarter.
Well, track it down somewhere at some point and point it out.
There it is.
There.
Yeah, Llamas with Hats. It's still Llamas with Hats. It's very good.
It sure is a web cartoon of a certain era.
That is, what, 20-something years old now? Gotta be.
Gosh, yeah.
Gotta be. I feel like Llamas with Hats is pretty much birth of the internet type stuff. I know Charlie the Unicorn is.
Yeah.
But yeah, yes. Well done, Film Cow, for
sticking the landing? Question mark.
Again. Because I thought the original finale was also really good, episode 12.
Yeah.
But yes, this is also very good. What about you? Have you watched anything else?
Not really. It's just been binging YouTube. Really, nothing of huge import.
Nom nom nom, tasty YouTube.
Nom nom nom, tasty YouTube. You watched anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Well then, time for this.
Hello.
Yes.
We've got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, you may have noticed things getting a little bit chilly.
I have unfortunately noticed that.
And you may have noticed things getting a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Well, what if, instead of that, this week's sponsor, Summerscreen?
Oh, tell me more.
Well, you know sunscreen?
Yeah.
It's not that.
Okay.
It's a screen that you put over all your windows in the house.
Okay.
And it displays, like, daylight and, like, nice summery scenes outside. And it works doubles as a daylight lamp.
Oh.
Because it's real powerful. And also, because of the amount of heat being kicked out by these things, it also warms the house.
Oh.
It's a radiator / daylight lamp / not be sad all the time experience.
Oh, I see the one we've got installed over there for the little test for the ad. That looks really good. That looks so good. I think I'm gonna go look outside the front door right now because it just looks so real.
Yeah, it's very wet.
It's very wet out there.
It's very wet. It feels like just a solid wall of wet.
Oh, now I get to have the experience of being inside on a sunny day, not allowed to go out. I guess that's better.
But you can see it.
Yeah, but I can't go out.
And think about the number of times we didn't go out during the summer.
Yeah, it's reminding me of that, and that I should go out because it looks sunny.
Yeah, but we didn't go out then either.
No, but
just continue being a nerd, like we always do.
I'll try.
We'll go out maybe 4 times this winter. How will it be any different to summer?
Because I'll fool myself into thinking it's sunny and then get disappointed.
Just keep looking at the...
Okay, I'll keep looking at the sponsor.
Look into the sponsor.lol.net. That's summerscreen.lol.net. And go there. Enter the code Q&PS 323 and you can get 25% discount on your first 6 panels. For your home, made to measure RIA or off the rack. Ooh. That's summerscreen.lol.net. Give me a try for your warm winter eye.
Just don't look out the front door.
Yeah. Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi. So, I need your help brainstorming.
Right.
Because I had a great idea, I thought, for making money. Which is, hey, people boot up our console all the time.
Yeah.
And, that home screen, prime real estate where we could be advertising.
Yeah, I mean, we've been putting it into people's operating systems. Why can't we put it onto consoles?
Yeah, so I jammed like a bunch of autoplay video ads onto the home screen of the console.
Genius.
Well, I thought so too, but apparently, I'm being advertised to. I don't like it. All complaining. So
right.
We gotta find somewhere else to shove these ads. So I've been thinking, instead, tasteful in-game integrations.
Right, like the billboards we used to have in the racing games.
Well, yeah, that's like a start, is we put the billboards, but maybe like, we give you an unlockable costume that is like the uniform for someone who works at company that's paying us for advertising.
Right, yeah.
Like you got the pizza delivery boy outfit that just so happens to look like the that one company.
Yeah.
Or maybe we make in-game car skins, so it's like it's It's the burger sales place delivery car driving down the big open world street.
Right. Yeah. And people hate loading screens. We could, just slap ads into loading screens. Like, you weren't going to be playing the game at that point. The game's just loading.
Yeah, well, see, I thought about that, but the stupid hard drive speeds mean that it's hard to put loading screens in anymore.
I mean, they don't all have the SSDs, and still, sometimes they're still having to load. And,
I suppose.
Maybe the advertisers don't need to know exactly how long their ad is on the screen.
Well, maybe the loading screen stays longer than it needs to.
Yeah, maybe just a little. Maybe we could just, drag it out just a little.
Exactly. Maybe last idea.
Right.
Sometimes you're getting ready to fight a group of enemies and you're like scoping out the environment and they do like chatter amongst themselves before you beat them up.
Right.
Maybe they're talking about like how much they love the new giant robot movie that's about to come out.
Yeah.
And how it's their favorite movie and they can't wait to go see it in the cinemas on October 14th or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe we put some of that in there.
Yeah, or how they got like the new phone and and all the good features that it has. The kind of chatter that people usually have, but like you overhear it like in a bathroom.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, like men discuss while peeing. Yes.
You are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, tell us about the thing you put in your ears, the big thing that you put in your ears and now in your chest.
Well, the main thing that I listened to this week was I went with a couple of friends to the Sonic Symphony World Tour in London at the, what's it called now? The Eventheim Apollo, formerly the Hammersmith Apollo.
It's the Apollo. It's in Hammersmith.
The Apollo, it's in Hammersmith, the one, if you're local. But yes, this was a concert of two halves, I will say.
Yes.
Two very distinct halves.
Mm-hmm.
So, for context, completely sold out event, full of a lot of very queer, autistic people, lots of rainbow hair, and coming with their plushes, and I'm like, yep, this is my kind of crowd. The first half is sort of what I expect. I didn't read too much into this before agreeing to go. The first half is sort of what I expected out of Sonic Symphony, which was music from the pixel art Sonic games, performed by like a big orchestra, doing sweeping medleys. What I will say that I think sets this apart from like having seen, say, the Zelda Symphony tour that happened many years ago, is that they had, like, footage of the games playing up on screen that was sort of timed with the music that was being played by the orchestra. There was a real sense of comedy to the timing of the visuals with the music. Like, there's one bit that sticks in my head that was I think it was Sonic 2, and every time there was, like, an emphasized note in the music at one point in the medley, it would flash Sonic dying, and it would be different clips of Sonic dying on every emphasized note.
Wow.
And it was things like that were just like very clever uses of we've worked out the orchestration for this version the orchestra is going to play. Let's give something that really feels tailored visually to what is being played, and have some fun with it. So very good symphony renditions of classic Sonic music that were like funnier than I anticipated. And then there was an intermission, and it felt a little out of place. It was like, oh, do we need an intermission? And the reason there was an intermission is because there was about to be an abrupt genre change of what this event was.
We've done Sonic, and now we're doing Shadow.
The second half of this event was all of the 3D Sonic games that have lyrics in their music being performed by a live rock band, backed up by an orchestra.
Excellent.
So suddenly you had, like, a lead singer and multiple guitarists and drummers and things on stage, performing like multiple back-to-back songs from Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
And
the audience cheering every time a little girl was shot.
Yes, every time Maria got shot in footage from Shadow the Hedgehog, the crowd was just like, woo! It never stopped being amusing as it happened. The things that I took away from that were, A, Shadow the Hedgehog has some good fucking tunes.
Mm-hmm.
B, I haven't thought of the music from Sonic R, the racing the racing game where they're running around on their feet. Haven't thought of the music from that in a while. The original singer for that showed up and came and sung about how it was supersonic racing. Supersonic racing. And then look, Sonic Frontiers kind of all over the place as a game. Its soundtrack's really fucking good. I was reminded how fucking good the Sonic Frontiers soundtrack is, and how easy it is to listen to those tracks and forget they're Sonic tracks. I have several of them in my music rotation that I enjoy listening to, and it wasn't until they were being played at the Sonic show that I was like, that's a Sonic track. That thing I listened to is Sonic music, is it?
Oh, yeah.
I had completely detached it from its original context. Sonic Frontiers has some good tunes like that, but also we were running around at the speed of sound, got places to go, got to follow our rainbow.
Hell yeah.
And the whole room fucking exploded at that.
I'll bet.
That second half was something. That room was bumping. It was a great time.
Excellent.
Yeah, had a very fun time at that, and the crowd, good crowd vibes.
Excellent.
So yeah, what about you? You put anything in your ears this week?
Not really. I'm continuing listening to Discworld's audiobooks. I listened through Masquerade, Men at Arms, and Lords and Ladies. Mm-hmm. So, and I've just started Feet of Clay. Still enjoying it, still occasionally going, ooh, can't strongly recommend, but I am going through them again and having memories of getting back into reading after a very long time, of really struggling with reading because school kind of knocked all that out of me. Well done, school.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's everything for me.
Well then, time for this.
Order. We have the next case brought up, please. Next case. Okay, let's see. 764-12. The course of society will now hear this case. Is you three the defendants, are you?
Yeah.
And I see you're charged here of what has been described as low-effort trolling, and
Hey, we tried hard on that.
in a public forum. Okay, let's see. So you're accused here of entering a stream and calling the streamer smelly and making some vague yet not terribly ingenious transphobic comments.
Hey, I had to think for quite a while to think of You're a Man drag queen story hour. That took me a while.
Right, when you could have just found that any time on Twitter. Wouldn't have taken you long at all. It's not even original. Okay, well, I sentence you to 6 months with no keyboard.
Yeah, but how will I shout at people then?
You're not allowed to shout at anyone. You're going to have to do some community service. Do some good things for society.
That doesn't sound like me.
No, I've noticed that about you, but that's the problem. You are going to have to do things for the good of society. This is the court of society. You are being judged by society as both unoriginal and a dick, and we sentence you to 3 months community service. Don't do it again.
I probably got a slur. I probably think it was a slur for you. Yeah.
6 months.
Oh.
We've done it. We've got the technology, finally, to end grief in its entirety, using AI.
All grief?
All grief absolutely gone, all over.
All of it in its entirety?
Yes, you know how people are like, oh, lost a loved one.
Yes,
Very sad about that. Well, what if they could talk to their loved one using AI?
Oh.
We just use logs, or like their chat logs, or their personal messages. If they were doing a lot of
I see. Yes,
VoIP anywhere that's recorded, we can use that to train the chat logs. Here, in fact, is your brother.
Oh, yes.
Yes, who played a lot of Call of Duty. So we've got loads and loads of voice chat here, and are you ready to chat to your late brother?
I was going to say yes until you mentioned Call of Duty, but sure. Oh God! Shut it down! Shut it down!
Shut it down. That was a lot of slurs.
That is not how I remember him, but the fact he plays
is how
Call of
he was.
Duty does tell me that is how he was.
Are you feeling less grieving now?
I feel less need to grieve him now.
It works. Excellent. This is a money-making scheme, and I'm ready to roll it out to everyone. Money.
I sort of preferred it when I was grieving.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social justice warriors.
Social justice warriors.
Yeah.
Right, Larry.
Right, Barry, how you doing?
Oh, a bit cold. Damp's getting to the old joints and stuff. It's you doing all right, mate?
Oh, doing all right. Got offered me me COVID booster.
Oh, nice. I was saying last year, it feels like it's been a real long time since I had my initial COVID shot and booster, and it feels like I've been hearing scientists and that online saying that doesn't that probably isn't lasting 3-4 years plus. So
Well, that was the thing about COVID. Is the thing that made it so tricky is the speed at which it sort of mutates and the trickiness of nailing it down. But I'll say it's reassuring that the medical establishment has not just completely hand waved away the idea of continuing to attempt to immunise people. And I've seen some people who have been who've heard seen that boosters are happening and being like, well, didn't I already have my booster? Haven't I been vaccinated for this already? And it's important to be like, no,
not all vaccines are the same.
Not all vaccines are the
not
same.
Not all COVID is the same.
Yeah, you know how we have annual flu vaccines that change every year because the strains change, and we look at the most common strains over 2 to 3 years and go, that's the ones that will make sure we immunise you for at the moment.
Yeah, and your flu vaccine's usually like 3 or 4 strains of flu.
And now, the fact we recognise as a society, just because a flu vaccine might need updating with another one as strains change doesn't mean that the flu vaccine doesn't work.
Yeah.
The fact that they're doing another booster for COVID does not mean that the COVID vaccine or booster did not work, just that we recognise the changing state of the virus and that an updated immune response is a sensible thing to do for society.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that it's been, done through the NHS again, because, I remember thinking, reading at the beginning of the year that it was going to be possible that you were just going to be able to, buy a booster shot from your local pharmacy and get it done there. And if that was the case, then, come winter, I was thinking, that'd probably just be something I'll do as soon as that becomes an option, just because, I want the extra protection, especially if I want to, go out and see people, I'm still masking up and stuff.
Yeah, you want to be as safe as you can,
Yeah, you try your best, but, you never know where there might be, a little crack in that. You're seeing people and you try and, trust your friends and family that, they're being as considerate and taking care of you as you would for them. But, that's not necessarily always the case, despite what you might hope. But it's, I'm glad that is an option, and I hope that people, will take that up. But, obviously there's been so much bullshit and lies and bollocks about, COVID going around, and that, I imagine there probably is resistance from,
people
who I would, probably have some harsh words for, but, I'm glad that, those who want to have the option, and, those who are immunocompromised are going to be, doubly protected if a decent number of people are taking up the booster.
I don't know about anyone else, but I can say for myself, I'm getting that thing the second I can.
Oh yeah, I've got messages about mine as well, and I've booked it immediately. So
nice.
Yeah, almost excited for it, to be honest, mate.
Honestly, same.
Yeah. Well, fancy enough, mate.
Oh yeah.
Good hug, mate. Good hug.
Good luck.
Right, I think I'm going to pop the kettle on.
Sounds like a plan.
Nice. So, you do things upon the internet.
I do.
Award-winning journalist Laura Kate Dale.
Me, hi.
Where can you be found upon the internet if people want to see some award-winning journalism?
You can find me at Laura K Buzz pretty much everywhere on the internet. Things I've got coming up this week, there'll be another reaction video to episode 2 of Wandering Sun, the anime that
Crack of the egg.
It cracked the egg. It's my Pinko Pig. It's the thing I binged in one afternoon and then had to come out that same day. So if you want to watch along with me at that and go, how did I not realize that character was also being set up to be trans in the follow-up manga? How did I not see that 15 years ago? You can come on that journey with me. There's also an accessibility episode this week about Echoes of Wisdom, talking about non-speaking characters, and like the first half is fairly spoiler light. It is mainly talk about stuff a couple of hours in, and then there's a sort of clear point where it's like, now we're going to talk about some later stuff.
There is a big spoiler warning.
There's a big sort of, here's where the spoiler's going to be. You be warned. So check out the Echoes of Wisdom accessibility episode this week.
Yeah.
What about you? Where are you at on the internet, my lovely?
Oh, well, I don't have all the unified branding, but I do have a link tree. It's linktree.ee/Janiac, Janiac. You can find things I've written and t-shirts I've designed and music I've made and all of that good stuff. And you can help support me at patreon.com/StonedMonkeyRadio for as little as $1 a month. You can help me justify getting all of these edited and all of the other things, all the streaming and stuff. And that's it for me. So, Laura,
Yeah?
will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.